All right, Shalom. I want to first start off giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, the men that taught us this truth through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, and peace and blessings unto the elect. The name of this video is going to be called Yahawashi Freed Us. Okay, and I want to go through some scriptures to express how Yahawashi gave freedom to the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who are the Israelites according to the Bible. And in particular, he only freed, in this time that we're living in, the last days, he only gave that freedom to the elect. Okay? Everybody else is still under bondage. They still have shackles upon their mind, and they don't understand the truth. Okay. So with me saying that, I'm gonna go ahead and get into the scriptures. This is St. John chapter 8, and I'm gonna get straight to the point. Well, I'll start at verse 31. This is St. John 8 and 31, and it reads, "Then said Yahawashi to those Jews which believed on him, If ye continue in my words, then ye are my disciples indeed." So you have to come under the teachings of Yahawashi, which the way you come under the teachings of Yahawashi, meaning the true understanding of this Bible, is through teachers. The Most High set up men here on the planet Earth to teach other men so that they become teachers until the elect is woken up. Okay? You have to come under those teachings to be his disciple, to be Yahawashi's disciple, and you should want to be his disciple because that's an honorable thing to be a man up under the teachings or the understanding, I'll say, of Yahawashi. Verse 32, John 8 and 32, "And ye shall know the truth." So you're going to know the truth by becoming a disciple of Yahawashi, meaning coming up under the teachings of Yahawashi. The teachings of Yahawashi is the understanding of this Bible. He gave it to the elect. Okay? And we hope to be of the elect. We know for sure that we have the true doctrine that we've been taught, starting with the apostles and the elders on down. Okay? And back once again, you gonna get this truth if you are a disciple of Yahawashi, meaning you have to come up under the teachings of Yahawashi, which is the true understanding of this Bible. Okay? It says, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Okay? So the truth is going to make us free. The truth is this understanding, man. The understanding of this Bible. That's the truth. Understanding what life is all about. Okay? What's going to come down the pike here in the future. Knowing that we are in the last days. Knowing that you're a Hebrew Israelite. And all the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding contained inside these scriptures. Okay? Now from there I want to go to 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians, the 7th chapter. And I'm going to start at well, you know what? Before I do that, before I go to 1 Corinthians, I'm going to go to Revelation, the 5th chapter, because this is how Yahawashi freed us, okay? Because in order for us to get the truth and to get the understanding, or to get the truth, which is the understanding of these scriptures, something had to take place. And I'm going to read it. This is Revelation chapter 5. And I'm going to start at verse 1. And it says, "And I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within and on the sides. And on the backside, Salakia, sealed with 7 seals. So this is talking about the Bible. And it's saying that the Bible was sealed with 7 seals, meaning the understanding of the Bible was completely sealed up. Okay? It tells you that in the book of Daniel. Okay? The Most High told Daniel to seal up. Well, it's written in Daniel that the Most High was going to seal up the understanding of the Bible. Okay? Revelation 5:2, it says, "And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, Who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof?" Who is able to release the understanding of these scriptures? Take that spiritual padlock off the Bible and open up the understanding of what this book is talking about. Okay? Verse 3, it says, "And no man in heaven nor in earth, neither under the earth, was able to open the book, neither to look thereon." Meaning nobody was able to get the complete understanding of these scriptures. Okay? Verse 4, "And I wept much because no man was found worthy to open and read the book, neither to look thereon. And one of the elders said unto me, Weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, hath prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof." So that's talking about, obviously, Yahawashi. He's the one that loosed or released the understanding of what this book is talking about, the Bible. Okay? Verse 6, "And I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne and of the 4 beasts, and in the midst of the elders stood a lamb as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahawashi, sent forth into all the earth. And he came and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne. And when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of the saints. Verse 9, "And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof. For thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to the Most High, Yahweh, by thy blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation, and has made us unto our power kings and priests, and we shall reign on earth." And that's really the ultimate part of this understanding, is that we're not going to be down here in captivity forever, and we're not going to be down here too much longer. Okay, in captivity up under the so-called white man. We're going to reign as kings and priests in righteousness here on the planet Earth forever. And we always going to live in righteousness. Things are going to be set up the right way. The main point I want to get out of this is that was what had to happen in order for us to get this truth, or to get this the complete understanding, the 100% truth. Yahawashi was slain, so he opened up, he gave us freedom, because we read in St. John chapter 8, verse 32, that if we know the truth shall make us free. It says we shall know the truth. Who's gonna know the truth? The elect. And the truth shall make you free. But what had to happen in order for us to get the truth? Yahawashi had to be slain, crucified. His blood had to be shed in order for the understanding of the Bible to be released or opened up onto the elect. Okay? So now from there I want to go to First Corinthians. I'm gonna speak on on Yahawashi freeing us just a second before I go into First Corinthians, the 7th chapter. We got this truth because Yahawashi died on the cross. Okay? And that's a big thing, man. That's a big price that he paid to give us this truth, to give us everything, to give us the kingdom, which is starts with this understanding, but I'm talking about us ruling here on the planet Earth. The Israelites being the kingdom ruling on the planet Earth. That's a very heavy thing. He paid a price to give us this truth, and in return, we have an order that we must execute here on the earth, which is to teach this word. Okay, since Yahawashi paid the price to open up the understanding of this book to give it to the elect, we owe Yahawashi our life. Okay, because he gave up his life so that we can have the truth. Okay, he gave up his life so we can have this truth. So we must give up our life to teach this truth, to teach this understanding. Okay? We are in debt. We are owned by Yahawashi. Meaning we gotta do what he told us to do because he paid a heavy debt, which the debt was death. Our penalty for breaking the law, statutes, and commandments was debt. The Most High, through Yahawashi, gave us life and gave us freedom, from debt through Yahawashi. So I'm gonna go into this is First Corinthians chapter 7, I'm gonna start at verse 20. It reads, "Let every man abide in the same calling wherein he was called." Talking about whatever your calling is in this truth, uh, abide in it, live in it. Execute that office or that position that you hold, and do it in a fervent manner. Okay, meaning you gotta be whatever your calling was for you to do here in this truth, then you have to execute that. All right, read verse 20 again. It says, "Let every man abide in the same calling wherein he was called." Verse 21, "Art thou being called, art thou called being a servant? Care not for it." So you're supposed to have care for this truth. You're supposed to have care for pushing this truth. It says, but if thou mayest be made free, use it rather. So we was made free through Yahawashi to use to use the gift that we were given, or the calling. I use the word calling because that's what we just read in the last verse. We were called to teach. Okay, we were called to teach this word by Yahawashi freeing us through the wisdom, knowledge, and freeing us, giving us this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That's what freed us. Okay, the truth. But Yahawashi had to pay a price with his blood being shed to give us this freedom, to give us this truth, to use to use the understanding that he has given us to teach this word. Okay, verse 22. It reads, "For he that is called in the Lord, being a servant, is the Lord's freeman." Okay, the Most High then gave us this wisdom, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Okay, that's how he freed us, and he freed us from debt, from the curse of the law. Okay, he freed us from the curse of the law, meaning the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans being under the law, subject to the law. We are in these imperfect bodies, okay, which are not able to keep the law. So the law became a curse onto us. And since I'm gonna go, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and get a scripture on that before I continue. This is and all this is going into how Yahawashi freed us. He freed us, and the main way was dying on that cross to give us this understanding, okay, of the scriptures. And another thing that he did, a major thing that he did, was lifted us from having to pay the penalty for breaking the law. I'm gonna say that again. He lifted the penalty that was on the nation of Israel, which was debt. Really, the penalty for breaking the law was breaking the law, statutes, and commandments is debt. Because in the book of Romans, it tells you that the wages of sin is debt. We all committed sins worthy of debt. And Yahawashi getting on that cross, he took up the penalty that was supposed to go upon Israel. He took it upon himself. Okay? Therefore, doing that, he redeemed us. Well, matter of fact, let me quit rambling and bring out the scripture. This is Galatians chapter, let me see, Galatians chapter 3. And I'm gonna start at the 10th verse. So this is Galatians 3:10. It says, "For as many as are of the works of the law are under the curse of the law." Okay? So as long as you believe it in your mind that you can be perfect through keeping of the law, you can be righteous in the eyes of the Most High by keeping the law, you're under the curse of the law, because being in these bodies that we're in, the scriptures also call them the chains of darkness. You can't keep the law perfect. Therefore, you're under the curse. You're under the curse of the law. Okay? It tell you what was gonna happen if we broke the law, statutes, and commandments. We were gonna be cursed. And we are to this very day, we're cursed. But Yahawashi dying on that cross, he really lifted those curses, even though we're still under those curses. Okay. He did what it took to remove the curses from us. And we're about to enter into that. As this so-called white man falls and is eventually is destroyed, through World War III, or the Battle of Armageddon that we read about in Revelation 16, the kingdom of heaven is going to be set up here on the planet Earth. And we're going to live righteous. We won't be under the curse of the law. We're going to be completely righteous, meaning we're going to follow the law, statutes, and commandments perfect. Okay? And since Yahawashi did these things, he required us to do exactly what he tell us to do in these scriptures. Because he is the one that paid the cost so that we can have freedom. Therefore, now we have to serve him. So this is Galatians 3:10. It says, "For as many as are of the works of the law are under the curse of the law. For it is written, cursed is everyone that continueth not in all things which are written in the book of the law to do them." So it's telling us right there, if you're not keeping everything that's written in the law, meaning keep the law perfect, you're cursed. And it's obvious that we're cursed. That's why we're here in these conditions. We're living in these conditions all around the earth. Here in America and all around the earth, we're living in terrible, cursed conditions the curses that you read about in Deuteronomy 28, because we didn't keep all the things written in the law or keep the law perfect. Okay? So unless you keep the law perfect, you can't be justified. So Yahawashi justifies us. Yahawashi with his blood. Well, let me read on because it's gonna go into it. Verse 11, it says, "But that no man is justified by the law in the sight of the Most High." That's what I was saying earlier. Okay? You can't be righteous in the eyes of the Most High through keeping of the law, because we can't keep the law perfect. It is evident, okay, it says, "It is evident, for the just shall live by faith." And that quote is from Habakkuk, the second chapter, the fourth verse. Verse 12, it says, "And the law is not of faith, but the man that doeth them shall live in them." Okay? So we have to, by us keeping the law, that shows that we have faith. By us keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, that show that we have faith. We ought to rehearse the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability. Okay? Verse 13 is the key point I want to bring out of this verse. Out of these verses. It says, "Yahawashi Mashiach hath redeemed us from the curse of the law." So what did he do? He freed us from the curse of the law. Because the word redeem means to buy back. Re means back, and deem means to buy or to pay. Okay, so we were under the basically trying to be righteous in the eyes of the Most High through keeping of the law. So we were in subjection to try to keep this law to be righteous before the Most High. But we couldn't, because we're in these bodies. Okay, that's how the Most High set it up, to put us in these chains of darkness, and this flesh, this corruptible flesh that is acceptable and under subjection to sin. Okay, you read about that in Romans 8 and 20. And you read about it in Romans 7. Read about it. Paul speaks about that in Romans, the 7th chapter. That's a good chapter to read. So going back to Galatians 3 and 13, it says, "Yahawashi hath redeemed us from the curse of the law." So he bought us back to being righteous in the eyes of the Most High. That's what it's saying. And not trying to be not trying to obtain righteousness through keeping of the law, or in other words, being righteous before the Most High. Yahawashi did that through his shedding of his blood. And it's going to say that in the next part of this verse. It says, "Being made a curse for us." So he took the curse away, the penalty, which was death. Okay, ultimately the penalty was death. He took that curse off of us, and he put it upon himself. He took it onto himself by being made a curse for us. And how was he made a curse for us? Let's read. "For it is written, cursed is everyone that hangeth on a tree." See, cursed is everyone that hangeth on a tree. Yahawashi was crucified. When he was crucified and put to death, he took upon that curse of Israel. Okay? He took upon the penalty for breaking the laws, statutes, and commandments. And he paid for the sins of Israel, the transgression of the law, with his blood. And what's the ultimate penalty really is death, because we all worshipped other gods, we committed adultery. Okay, well, worshiping other gods is spiritual adultery. We all committed adultery. Okay, we all did things and on down the list of breaking the laws. We all deserve. The nation Israel deserves to be put to death. That's the ultimate penalty is death by keeping of the law. It tells you that the wages of sin, as I quoted earlier, it's in the book of Romans. I don't know where it's at off the top of my head. The wages of sin are death, is death. Yahawashi freed us from that by through uh, dying on the cross. By dying on the cross, Yahawashi freed us from the curse of the law. Okay, and he gave us the understanding of this truth. Therefore, Yahawashi doing that, we owe him. We owe him our life to do what he told us to do. That's why I'm gonna go back to 1 Corinthians, the 7th chapter. It says, and what we're supposed to be doing is teaching his word. We're supposed to be teaching his word. He gave us the freedom to do it because he gave us this understanding. He gave us life versus death. Like we read in St. John 6:63, it says, the flesh profited nothing. Why? Because the flesh is going to lead you to death. If we had to rely on the flesh, we would die. Okay? That's why it says the flesh profited nothing. But the spirit quickened it, meaning the spirit maketh alive. Okay? The spirit maketh alive. So Yahawashi gave us life from death. All right, this is 1 Corinthians chapter 7, and I'm going to start at verse 22. It says, for he that is called in the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahawashi, or really in Yahawashi right here, for he that is called in the Lord Yahawashi, being a servant, is Yahawashi's or Yahawashi freeman. Okay? And we went through some scriptures to show how Yahawashi gave us the freedom. Okay, he took that spiritual padlock off your mind and gave you the glorious understanding of these scriptures. Therefore, we owe them. We owe them our life. It says, likewise, also he that is called into this truth called into this truth in your particular order, whatever your gift is that you have to use it. Being free. Let me read that let me read it from the top. Salakia. For he that is called in the Lord Yahawashi, being a servant, is Yahawashi's freeman. Likewise, also he that is called, being free. How are we free? Through Yahawashi, through him shedding his blood. He gave us this understanding. He gave us life and relieved us from death. Death through breaking the law, man. The flesh not being able to uphold keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Therefore, if you can't keep the law, you die. The wages of sin is death. Yahawashi freed us from that and gave us life. Through the shedding of his blood, he paid the penalty so that we wouldn't have to die and continue to live after the flesh. Eventually, we're going to get the glorious bodies that are perfect, that don't commit sin, that don't, and sin is conceived in your spirit, in your mind, and then you play out an action on the earth, here on the earth, an action that breaks the law. So reading on, it says, Likewise, also he that is called being free is Yahawashi's servant. So see, we if you called into this truth and we were made free, he chose us, selected us to be the elect to get this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So therefore we're free. Okay. And we understand that we're righteous before the Most High through Yahawashi. Okay. And he delivered us from debt. He delivered us from trying to constantly obtain being right, trying to obtain righteousness, being righteous before the Most High through keeping of the law. Okay, but he's gonna give us. We're gonna get all that when we get our new bodies. Okay, right now is the time to have faith and believe and give up your life for Yahawashi because he did it for us. Okay, he gave his life for us so that we can have these things, so that we can have everlasting life in righteousness. So we have to serve him. That's what he tells us to do. We have to a requirement, Salakia, is faith. A requirement is faith, and a requirement is to serve him by doing exactly what the book say to do to the best of your ability. The main thing is teaching his word. Teaching his word, rehearsing the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability, praying and teaching his word, man. Verse 23. For ye are bought with the price. See, we were bought with the price. That price that we were bought with was the blood that Yahawashi shed on that cross. He bought us or redeemed us, like we read in Galatians 3, the 3rd chapter. He redeemed us or bought us with his blood, the shedding of his blood. So if Yahawashi bought us, that means he owns us. That means we're complete subjection to. We're supposed to be in complete subjection to Yahawashi. And if you're not, then you're not of the elect. You're not of the elect. You don't really have this truth, or the Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahawashi is gonna take this truth from you, if that be his will. Okay. So since we're bought with it, well, let me finish this verse. It says, ye are bought with the price. Be not ye the servants of men. Okay. So we are to serve Yahawashi, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahawashi. Do what he told us to do and not bullshit him because he owns us. He bought us with his blood. He gave us freedom. He freed us through shedding his blood. That opened up the seals to give us this truth. That opened up the spiritual seals on this Bible to give us this truth, this understanding of the Bible. And since we got the understanding, which is the understanding, you're constantly getting understanding. That's why the scripture in John 7:38 says, if you have to believe on Yahawashi, as the scripture has said, and out of your belly, the belly of your mind, you're talking about your spirit, shall flow rivers of living water. Living water is moving, that moves. Okay, and river is something that's constantly moving at a rapid pace. Okay, especially certain parts of a river. You can go, what's that, kayak or canoeing, whatever that is, kayaking, I think, in a river. I mean, you gotta have a heavy flow, crashing flow of water in order to do that, and it's steadily moving. So with that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, we're always growing because the water, this word, is considered water, or is referred to as water. Okay, that's the water, and which is the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures, and it's supposed to stay flowing out of your spirit. That's where the teaching comes in. And you're not to be serving some men. We supposed to serve Yahawashi. A good example of that is IUIC. I speak on them, and I'm just using them as an example. They're really serving Nate, Nathaniel Seven, and the leadership over there. They're not serving Yahweh Bashim Yahawashi because they're not even dealing with the name, teaching the name. Okay, they're serving men, but we all owe Yahawashi. The only one that's gonna pretty much pay what's owed to Yahawashi, which is your life, is the elect. And that's basically it. I didn't mean to make this video this long, and I kind of just went through the spirit. I just pulled these scriptures, but I've been wanting to do a lesson on this particular topic, and I didn't know how I was gonna put it together. So I just got the scriptures and prayed about it, and just went through these scriptures in the spirit, because we're in a time where we're supposed to be pushing His word heavily, and we owe Yahawashi that much, because our lives being paid really ain't even enough. That's where that grace and mercy comes in. That we owe Yahawashi our life, to give up our life, to devote our life to teaching His word, man. With that, I hope this lesson was edifying. I want to once again give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashum Yahawashi, Ba'ashum Rakah Kodash. Once again, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, the men that taught us this truth through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashum Yahawashi. Peace and blessings unto the elect. Shalom.